2 hours. That's how long this game has to impress me enough to keep playing. Otherwise, it gets refunded through Steam's 2-hour refund policy. So, let's see if it has what it takes to pass the test. This is the Steam Refund Review. Oblivion Remastered was released just last week as of making this video, and quite honestly, the game basically shadow dropping out of nowhere may have helped cure my depression. Jokes aside, Oblivion was originally released in 2006 and, while amazing, had some very dated graphics, animations, combat, and mechanics. The remaster, however, was developed by both Bethesda Softworks and Virtuos. As far as I can tell, this is a total overhaul of the game and I can't wait to play. The Steam description for Oblivion Remastered reads, "Explore Cyrodiil like never before with stunning new visuals and redefined gameplay in the new Elder Scrolls IV Oblivion Remastered." I like it, straight to the point and nothing but truth. I will say as a caveat that I'm in no way, shape, or form going into the world of Oblivion completely blind. I have beat Oblivion 2006 twice, but obviously the remaster is completely new to me and that's what we're reviewing today. So I played the original Oblivion back in 2012 for the first time, after being introduced to the Elder Scrolls universe through Skyrim. And in my opinion, just like Skyrim, it was an amazing game. The exploration, the story, the quests, but it did have some blaring issues at the time, at least for me. The game had some really outdated graphics, controls, and mechanics. Of course, there were some other things that felt outdated, being a game from 2006, but the graphics, controls, and mechanics are really what stuck out like a sore thumb to me back when I first played. I remember thinking to myself, wow, if this game had graphics just as good as Skyrim's, it would be 10 times better than Skyrim itself. Well, here we are now, almost 20 years later, and it's finally happened. Only the graphics and updates the game got are far better than what we got even in Skyrim. And so far, as of writing this script anyway, the game has about 8,000 reviews and 83% of them being positive. From what I can tell from reading the negative reviews, the biggest issues people are having so far with the game is the performance and stability. I saw quite a few negative reviews citing that it crashes frequently or just doesn't run well on the reviewer's PC. I personally had no issues with these types of things, but hey, I understand everyone has a different experience. The only issue I had was getting some lagging while streaming at max settings and uncapped FPS, but then again, I often stream, record, and play the game at the same time, so it was a lot on my PC. But anyway, let's jump into this remaster to see firsthand if it's everything I have ever dreamed of or bound for Oblivion. So jumping into the game, I can already see just how much work the devs put into this remaster. The lighting, the character models, the updated combat, the quality of life changes, everything is fresh. You can tell that this wasn't just a sloppy job done for a little bit of extra cash like some remakes do. There was a lot of heart put into this, I can already tell. So as always, we start with the amazing opening cinematic, then find ourselves in a jail cell where we create our character. And this is definitely a game where you could potentially spend 2 hours in just the character creator alone, but since I knew that, I rushed through it so I could get on with the game. Let's go ahead and break it down just a bit more now. So, for those of you who live under a rock, Oblivion is an action RPG in which you fight to save the region of Cyrodiil from a demonic invasion from the Oblivion Plane. The game has some very stereotypical RPG tropes and gameplay where you fight enemies and perform skills to level up, talk to various NPCs, explore some dungeons, and so on. The game is open world, and after the tutorial, it really lets you go anywhere and do anything, similar to Skyrim. Or, you know, a lot of RPGs nowadays, because that seems to be the trend. Speaking of Skyrim, in case you didn't know, this is the 4th game in the Elder Scrolls series, making it the one before Skyrim and takes place in the time period before Skyrim as well. As far as changes compared to the 2006 version, the combat is much more fluid, the enemy AI seems to be improved, but still very Bethesda-y if you know what I'm saying, and it has a more modernized leveling system. So obviously, I know all about the story of this game as I've played Oblivion before, but let's talk about what I experienced and what you might experience within just the first 2 hours of the game, since this is the Steam Refund Review. The tutorial sees you trying to escort the Emperor to safety while being chased by a cult trying to kill him. You and the Emperor eventually get trapped, and with his last words, he tells you to find a maester who has knowledge of his long-lost son named Martin. After finding the maester, he tells you that Martin is located in a city called Kvatch, but when I arrived there, it was being overtaken by legions of demons, assumably trying to find and destroy Martin to finish off the Emperor's bloodline. I heroically volunteered to enter the portal to the Oblivion realm, to close the portal, and to stop the demon onslaught to save the city. After closing the portal, I cleared out the rest of the city and I saved Martin and told him that his father was the Emperor. That's about as far as I got in the story within the first 2 hours of gameplay, but man, there's so much more to this game that will play out if I continue. Let's switch gears and talk about the graphics now. The overhauled graphics in this game are amazing. Like I said, I had to tone them down just a bit to record and stream the game at the same time, but even on medium settings at 60 FPS, this game looks completely new compared to the 2006 Oblivion. The details on every character are amazing, the facial expressions are much better and somehow just as charming as they were back in 2006, and the environments and lighting were on another level. Back when I played for the first time in 2012, I could only dream about how good this game would have looked with overhauled graphics, and now we have it. This game simply looks gorgeous now. The only critique that I have is that the color palette seems a lot more brown now compared to the original game. The original game had a lot more vibrant colors, and this game just looks a little bit more dull compared to that as far as the color palette goes. Last but not least, let's talk about the sound in this game. I absolutely love that they kept a lot of the NPCs' voices the same as the original, and even though some of the voice lines are awkward, they kept them that way to keep the charm that it had way back in 2006. The music, of course, is still fantastic, the sound effects are now much more realistic, and everything is just as charming as it was back in 2006 in my opinion. I know Bethesda has a bad track record from the past few years, but I think that sound design is something that they never wavered on, and they certainly haven't in this game. So what are my overall thoughts after just 2 hours of playing the remake? Well, this game is amazing. It's 100% going to suck me back in all over again, and the only reason that I wish that I knew when this release date was beforehand was so that I could plan time off of work so I could no-life this masterpiece of a game. The game is priced at $49.99 on Steam, and there is also a deluxe version available for $59.99, but as far as I can tell, it doesn't have much to offer besides some cosmetic stuff and a digital soundtrack. And yes, the horse armor is back in the deluxe edition. According to HowLongToBeat.com, Oblivion 2006 took about 28 hours to beat and 184 hours to complete. Obviously, there's not yet enough data to know how long the remaster will take to beat and complete, but it's only reasonable to assume that it'll be about the same as the 2006 version. Considering all this, I think the game has a great value and is well worth the price in my opinion, even after just playing for 2 hours like I've done. To give this game a review score based on the first 2 hours of gameplay, I give it an easy 10 out of 10. I haven't found any reason to criticize it yet besides, like I said, the washed out colors, and I haven't had any performance issues, and it's literally everything that I could have ever wanted. This, in my opinion, is a huge dub for Bethesda. So, question of the day, will I keep playing or will I refund it? This is an easy replay, and if I was to refund it, the great Akatosh himself may smite me and leave me in a pile of dust. Alright, so tell me your opinion on this remaster in the comments. Are you also enjoying it, or would you rather just go back to playing the 2006 version? As always, thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope that you'll like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And as always, I'll see y'all in the next one.